Hey everybody, welcome to DadsDen of Pop Culture and Justice League Monday. And the Justice League comics are taking a turn for the more serious this week. Of course, last week, Justice League America was pretty serious. But it continues here. And then, at the same time, Justice League Europe is going to be facing a major threat to the team. Let's put this one aside for the moment, and instead focus on Justice League America, dealing with Despero, who has come back for revenge on the Justice League. Story by Giffen and DeMatteis, art by Hughes and Rubenstein. Okay, so we begin where we finished off last issue, with Despero preparing to attack Gypsy, a former member of the League, and being confronted by John Jones, somewhere in upstate New York. Get away from her, Despero, right now. John, come to watch Gypsy die, have you, Martian? There'll be no more death today, except perhaps yours. And if you understand what they've done with the John Jones character over time, you know that that's not a boast or a threat that he would make lightly. Well, Despero, as you can see, attacks, and John gives him a good wallop right on the mouth. But unfortunately, that's not going to be enough to deal with the monster. And so we get a little banter between the two of them. You know, do you know how long I drifted there in space after our last encounter? Drifted formless, my consciousness shattered. It was only my will that kept me alive. My will and my brightly burning hate. And hate is what Despero is all about. And of course, we know how powerful that emotion can be and how destructive. He throws the Martian Manhunter. He lands on a roof, crashes through another one. Now, Justice League is known for being humorous. This is a pretty serious one, but they do get a couple little jokes as he takes off. There's a guy down there. Hey, what about my roof? Come inside, dear, before someone else falls on you. So you do get a couple little jokes, but I think they balance it pretty well. Ooh, I'm on my way. I like that Dick Tracy movie. It was really good. So Jones comes back as Despero is ready to attack Gypsy. Pretty disturbing conversation there, too, from him. And he launches an attack from his third eye into the mind of the Martian Manhunter. And it's sort of, I know, you flip over and you're like, why is there an ape and, oh, Capri Sun. Okay, no, we're over here. So he sees himself back on Mars. He sees Despero going to attack his daughter. Basically, he's trying to just fill his mind with all sorts of horrible, horrible pain. And in fact, he does exactly what he set out to do there. And this sort of breaks John Jones' mind. You can kind of see here that he is, he's out there, folks. He's gone. And Despero decides, well, that's it. I'm done playing with you, Gypsy. Still, I hope you take some comfort in knowing that your death will be as utterly meaningless as your worthless life. Goodbye. And then, boom. What happens? Well, a sort of green bubble appears over his head. So the explosion happens sort of within there. Who dares? Who dares? Well, who dares, of course, is Guy Gardner. And look, Guy is, of course, a jerk. I mean, you got three guesses, nitwit. And I'll even give you a clue. It ain't Hal Jordan. But there are times when you're happy to see the Green Lantern. So he creates this little catapult and shoots Despero off. Well, we'll find out how far he shoots him in just a minute. And then he starts, sort of being a creep with Gypsy, and she's trying to tell him what has happened. And of course, Guy is not listening. And he finally goes over to John. He's like, yo, John, what's going on? Ugh, no kidding. I think the babe's right. You are looking a little rough around the edges. Despero. Not to worry. I booted him from here to eternity. He's dangerous. Killed Gypsy's parents and my mind. He attacked my mind. Such as it is. Find him, Guy. Stop him. This for real? Despero offed your folks? That's what I've been trying to tell you. Geez, that ain't good. that really ain't good. And, you know, it's one of those things. Comic books obviously give you these wild, outrageous tales of cosmic this and cosmic that. This gets right down to home, and you could see that it's sort of a commentary on comic books and what you typically get in them, as well as being, you know, a comic book and the action going on. It's a little meta commentary, maybe we'll call it. Well, Guy is absolutely thrilled to go after Despero. Where did you get, believe me, I didn't recruit him. Okay, so off goes Guy. Here comes the rest of the League, Fire and Ice, Mr. Miracle, and Blue Beetle. And Mr. Miracle is still having some weird problems with his mind. Well, all of a sudden they see something fly past their, you know, the window. And they're like, what the heck is that? And then there goes Guy Gardner. Now that's our problem. And so off they go, following Guy Gardner. And it looks like Despero has crashed somewhere in the ocean. And Guy is just waiting up there for him. You know, well, I can wait, whale breath. I got all the time in the world. And they're kind of like going, Guy, what is going on here? They distract him. And at that moment, Despero attacks, you know, boom. Or as they said there, Gwynuff and plash. Not splash, mind you. Just plash. And they rocket sort of into the middle of Midtown Manhattan, making a crater. They're underground. They're fighting. The cavalry goes in. Scott says, look, I'll take over the shuttle. You go down there and you can help. And so, but he's still like, no problem, no problem, no problem, no problem. Somehow, I think there's a problem. Hope I won't regret this. So he can hear the fighting going on underground. Maybe it's like in the subway, something like that. And then, boom, they burst out of the subway, and you see that Ice seems to get hurt by some flying debris, something like that. And they're going at it, and then boom, here comes some fire from the Green Flame. She might be fire now at this point. You hurt my friend, you miserable animal. You hurt Ice, and you're going to pay for that. And what do we hear? Like Guy Gardner there on the ground. He hurt Ice. That's not going to make him happen. Boom, launches this power beam out of the ring right into him. But Despero fights back with his third eye ray and pretty much takes Guy Gardner out. So one of the most powerful is gone. And in fact, you know, John Jones was pretty well taken out too. Well, who's left? Well, we got Green Flame and we got Blue Beetle, because Ice is unconscious too. Now Flame causes him some actual damage. I'm burning. And that's just the beginning. I've read the files on you, Buster. You may have been tough stuff when you took on the old League, but this is the new League, the new Justice League, and we die. Sorry, it's not that easy. Now, remember, when she's in her flame form, she's kind of insubstantial. He goes right through her, but he finds a way to take her out. It looks like with, let's see, mass the terror I feel in your mind. The terror I now turn against you. So again, uses his powers on her mind to knock her out. Blue Beetle catches her, but who's going to save Blue Beetle? You know, he says, you know, I'm sunk, as if a puny insect like you could ever help anyone. I'm not really an insect. It's just a costume. See, that's why they call me the Blue. Interesting. You are physically the weakest link. Your mind is second in strength only to the Martians. Quite resilient. Hey, that's an actually interesting piece of information about the Blue Beetle. You know, being a jokey guy doesn't always mean that you're not able to defend yourself. Well, the cavalry comes in the form of Mr. Miracle in the shuttle. Hang on, Beetle. I'm a comin'. All right, then. Have it your way. And he launches another one of those eye beams. And boom. A giant explosion. Scott! This Scott has gone straight to hell. But take heart. You'll be joining him there just as soon as I rip your limbs off one by one and grind your bones to dust. Despero's a little over the top, but the thing is, he means it. we leave that scene for a moment and we go to back to John and Gypsy. Looks like authorities are there, etc. And he's like, I will not desert you, child. That I swear. But Despero, he is evil, insanity, pure hate given form, and we are the focus of that hate. Despero has only one purpose, one driving need. He simply will not rest until he's fulfilled it, which means I have only one option open to me if I hope to stop him. I must help him fulfill his promise. I must help him destroy the Justice League. Okay. Do you think John's actually going to destroy the Justice League? I'm going to guess he has something else that's actually in mind. So you think, wow, I mean, that's bad. He's taken the League out. This guy is insane. He's incredibly powerful. What on earth are they going to do? Well, hey, at least Justice League Europe will probably be funnier than this. No, in fact, not. This is going to introduce a team of supervillains from another world called the Extremists. You will remember, of course, Silver Sorceress, Blue Jay, Wandjina come from a place. Now, I don't think they ever actually name it here, but they're based on characters from pre-Crisis who came from a world called Angor. Okay. And it was basically a DC version of the Marvel Universe, the same way as Marvel had their versions of DC characters. Okay, that was theirs. Blue Jay was Ant-Man. Silver Sorceress was the Scarlet Witch. Wandjina was Thor. All right. Now, they come into the Justice League, world early on in the series. We lose Wandjina. Blue Jay and Silver Sorceress were held prisoner by the Russians. She escapes back to her own dimension. Blue Jay managed to escape to the Russian embassy, and we'll see some of that in here. But when she does that, well, these guys are kind of waiting for her. Let's dip into this one and take a look at what happens. The Extremist Vector, Part 1, Kings of the Dust. So we see Silver Sorceress walking through probably New York, I would assume. Everything has been destroyed. It's radioactive. And she knows she's not going to survive. But frankly, she couldn't stay in our world because our world, she felt, was going to do the same thing to itself, a giant nuclear war. Okay. And so she's just, horribly, horribly sad, as one would be. And then we go to see the Extremists. We wanted to rule, but what are we ruling now? A planet of rubble, a planet of dust and rats. Everything else dies and the rats keep going. So the Extremists are not real happy. Now remember, this is supposed to be a sort of version of the Marvel Universe, and you kind of pick up that these are some alternate versions of Marvel supervillains as you go. Well, Lord Havoc there is pretty angry, and he's about to get angrier because what does he find out? He finds out that this guy, Tracer, well, let's start here. Lord Havoc does seem like he might be Ultron, potentially, at least based on him. Gorgon there seems as though he might be based on Dr. Octopus. And now I'm trying to think what this other mug's name is. Do they mention it there? Lord Havoc, your tensions, relaxation. I'm not seeing it. I don't think they said his name yet. That's fine. We'll get to it eventually. But I do think he might turn out to be, I want to say, I got the feeling he might be like Dr. Doom. He doesn't have the mask going, but it could be. Look, they're not perfect, examples of these characters. But Tracer, who seems to be maybe Sabretooth, has actually accidentally killed the last human being left on this world, torturing him. Because, these are extremely bad guys. These aren't like sort of supervillains who rob banks. These are the worst of the worst. And so they're all getting ready to go after Tracer and, make him pay for what he's done, the last human they had to torment, when he says, no, wait, I smell something. There's somebody new on this world. There's another human being out there. And they're kind of like, yeah, whatever. Well, Dreamslayer, who I'm thinking is maybe could be a Baron Mordo, could be a Dormamu, one of those kinds. He's like, no. He's telling the truth. I sense this. And so off they go to find the Silver Sorceress. Well, back in Moscow, Blue Jay is asking for asylum. And the Russian lady who's sort of the, in charge of the place, kind of like Catherine's in charge of the Paris embassy. She's like, I will immediately call the Justice League, and find out. Well, the other Russian there, Boris, is not happy because he has already been informed by the Russian authorities, take him back into custody. And so that's what he's going to do. He manages to block her call to Justice League America, or maybe she calls and they're all gone, probably from what we saw in the last issue we just looked at there a second ago. So Kilowog is like, yeah, well, they're not here, so, sorry, you're going to have to give Paris a call. I do like how, though, after he talks to her, he goes, now that's a nice hunk of woman. Oh, Kilowog might be in love. We get a moment here in Paris with Dimitri, Rocket Red, and his wife. She and the kids have just joined him in Paris. They're very excited about that. Very, very excited about that. Because the kids are right now busy being entertained by Wally West, the Flash. He's playing ping pong against himself. The kids are like, I don't understand this guy. When is it going to be our turn? Well, at that point, Power Girl enters the room. Wally's eyes pop out of his head just about. This introduces Power Girl's new costume. She's given up the old one. This one is somehow maybe even more revealing than the original. And, she's like, he took notice of her costume. I take it you noticed my new costume. Well, learn to unnotice it quick, or I'll rip your eyes right out of your sleazy Flash. Power Girl, I am sorry to interrupt you. You're amusing the children. But Captain Atom wants everyone in the conference room to sweet. Okay, they're having a meeting. The call has finally come through from the Moscow embassy. And he's like, well, we need to send somebody over there to fetch Blue Jay, Rex, to Moscow on the double. And Metamorpho kind of knew that was going to happen. He shows up just in time to find the Russians arguing. Guy's got something in this box. And he's like, tell me something, Ivan. What you got in the box? Well, it turns out, of course, to be Blue Jay. Let's flip over to this other dimension, this other world. The Extremists have found the Silver Sorceress, and they're demanding she give them the spell to get to the DC Earth. Because they want somebody to rule over. She refuses. They beat her mercilessly, but in the process, the Dream Slayer. I got to get all these names, in my mind here. As we go through, he plucks the spell out of her mind, and they're going to go ahead and enter the DC universe. Okay. Back in Russia, Blue Jay saying, well, he told me I needed to shrink down so I could prove that I was Blue Jay. That's when they snapped him in the box. Please, if you will allow me to explain, I can easily, I'll bet you can explain, or can easily. I'll let you know when I want you to easily. Okay. Sorry. It's small words, and I'm an old man. You have to give me a little, cut me a little slack here. So, he's telling what happened. And at that moment, Zach, what the heck just happened there? Well, in fact, that is the entrance of the Extremists. And there we see them in all their so-called glory. And the only one there to stop them is Blue Jay. Oh my God, no. And Metamorpho. And so think of these guys as being top-tier Marvel Universe villains. That's probably something Metamorpho is not going to manage to survive. And in fact, they start attacking him. They also capture Blue Jay. He's given him quite a going over. He attacks thinking, well, I can give a little bit back. And frankly, he's getting trounced, just plain old trounced. He tries to turn into a gas to escape, dazzling. And what will he do when I switch the polarity of the atmospheric ions around him? Why, that's just what I thought he'd do. A little more and I could kill him. But I suppose we should save something for later. Okay, so they have taken Metamorpho out pretty darn quickly. The Russian Boris runs off. Let him go. He is of no consequence. Hello, Blue Jay. Hello, little blue jay. We're going to have fun together. Okay, so you get the idea of what's going on, and they realize he's got communicators. Oh, so that means the heroes run around in packs in this world too. He goes, so let's, we could trace it back, and we could, invite them here for a little surprise party. And he says, I'll do you one better, dear boy. I believe I found a way to send them an awfully nasty little message. What could that mean? Well, I think we know what it means. Back at the Paris embassy, they realize that Rex has been gone too long, but Sue Dibney cannot get through. And then something comes through the teleporter tube. They run down. Oh, Lord. Rex. Hey, guys, I think we got us a situation here. And to be continued. So, a couple big-time issues here for the Justice League series. We got the Justice League of America, Justice League America, whatever, same thing. Going up against Despero does not look like it's going to be an easy fight as quickly he's taking people down. And now we have the Extremists entering, I keep wanting to say our world, except it turns out I don't live in the DC universe, but entering the world of the Justice League Europe. And these guys are no laughing matter. And in fact, they're going to be a big part of not only Justice League Europe, but also Justice League America moving forward. Well, there you have it, folks. Justice League America number 39, Justice League Europe. Number 15. Oh, did I? I don't think I mentioned the credits on this one. Doggone it. There we go. Sorry about that, folks. Keith Giffen, plot and breakdowns. Gerard Jones, script. Bart Spears, pencils. Pablo Marcos, inks. Bob Lappin, letters. Gene D'Angelo, colors. Kevin Dooley. What does that say? Oh, patter. Kevin Dooley, patter. Andy Helfer, pitter. Pitter and patter. Like I said, man, the eyes, they're getting weak. You can't pull this stuff on me, guys. You can't pull this stuff on me. That'll do it for this one. Let me know in the comments what you think of these two. If you enjoyed this video, if you've been enjoying Justice League Mondays, please give it a like, maybe subscribe, maybe share with a friend. But until next time, God bless everybody. Please be kind to one another. Have a little bit of fun out there. And I will see you again, hopefully soon, in Dad's Den of Pop Culture. Bye-bye.